In this free 1-hour copywriting course for beginners, I'm going to take my 20 years of copywriting experience and condense it into a 4-step process that I would follow if I was starting out as a beginner copywriter today with no experience, no portfolio, and no clients. So make sure you watch this free course all the way through, because I'm going to share with you the story of how I went from almost failing English in high school to becoming a highly paid copywriter. You'll learn the fastest and easiest way for beginners to learn copywriting, how much you should charge when you're just starting out, easy copywriting exercises that will improve your writing skills and abilities, and how to build an impressive portfolio, plus 9 tried and test strategies to get your first or next copywriting client. So, if you're someone who loves to write and wants to become a successful copywriter, working part-time from anywhere in the world, then this free copywriting course is for you. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. I want to start by sharing just a quick story about who I am, and so you know where I've come from and that this journey is absolutely possible for you. So in my early years of school, I was diagnosed with having mild dyslexia. Dyslexia is a learning condition that makes it difficult to comprehend and read and write. Because of this, I was often in the bottom of my classes throughout my school years. I almost failed my final English exam in high school. I barely passed. And because of that, I never attended university. I was interested in becoming a psychologist, but I just didn't have the marks or the grades to attend university. Because of that, I worked many odd jobs, many dead-end jobs, really. Everything from stacking shelves in a supermarket, washing dishes in a restaurant, telemarketing and calling people at dinner time, and even a ship porter, which means, carrying bags on and off ships. So that's a photo of me as a kid. I discovered copywriting in 2004 when I was 21 years of age. It was during a sales job that I really hated, but one of the great things about this sales job is that they had a library of marketing books. And one night when I was working back late, I discovered one of the books on the shelf was about copywriting. It was called Advertising Secrets of the Written Word by Joseph Sugarman, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes on how to learn copywriting. That's one of the books I discovered, and I just fell in love with the idea of writing and writing persuasively and getting paid to write. I thought it was amazing. So I read every book I could get my hands on. I'll be recommending some of the books later in this course. And I started practicing writing daily. So every day I would spend, anywhere from 10 minutes to 1 hour practicing writing. And I'll be sharing some of those exercises you can do in just a few minutes. When I felt my confidence had grown and I enjoyed and understood copywriting, I then started my freelance copywriting career at 21 years of age with just $5 in my bank account, right? So many years ago. At that age, I had no idea how to get clients. Remember, I'd worked a bunch of random jobs. I didn't know anything about getting clients. And I started networking online and offline, which meant joining different forums online and also attending in-person seminars in my local area, hoping to meet business owners that could hire me. I started to get my first few clients by doing those activities, and I'll be sharing 9 different client getting activities later in this course, so stick around for that. But I wrote for all types of different niches and businesses, everything from Japanese toothbrushes, dating workshops, financial services, everything you can imagine I've written for. In fact, I've written for over 153 different industries. I was even lucky enough to write for Jay Abraham, who some of you might know is one of the godfathers of, direct marketing. And of course, many top entrepreneurs over the last 20 years. In fact, one of my absolute copywriting gurus, one of the legends who I studied when I was first getting started, his name is Gary Halbert, and he actually gave me a really lovely review after I sent him the Japanese toothbrush that I wrote about. I wrote a landing page. I sent it to him. I said, Gary, would you mind reviewing this? And he said, Jesse, I think the copy is fantastic. Properly exploited, it will make millions. So that was a highlight of my career that I wanted to share. If you're familiar with Gary Halbert, he's an incredible person you can learn from. Also the author of the Gary Halbert Letter, which is a great resource to learn copywriting. He unfortunately passed away a few years ago. So I got so busy writing for my clients and using some of the strategies that I'm going to share with you later in this course that I couldn't handle all of the clients that wanted to hire me. So I started my own agency, Copywriting Crew, back in 2010, right? And I was able to grow that agency. At one point, we had 20 writers, editors, and a project manager helping us manage all of the clients and projects we were working on. As I mentioned, I have clients in over 153 different industries. Some of those clients went on to generate millions of dollars in sales revenue from the copy that I wrote or some of our writers wrote. And I was even invited to speak and share my copywriting tips at conferences around the world in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Thailand. And some of the executives that attended those conferences were from companies like Chanel, Disney, and Sony. So they came and paid up to $2,500 per person to attend those workshops all around the world. I was also invited to share my copywriting tips in different online learning platforms like Skillshare. And I've had over 35,000 different students around the world enroll in those programs. So I'm not saying all of this to brag or to try and impress you, but I want to let you know that I'm someone who has real world experience. I mean, I've lived copywriting for the last almost 20 years. I'm not some influencer who learnt about copywriting last year, now calls themselves, an incredible copywriter and is teaching a course or creating YouTube videos about this. There's a lot of that I'm seeing online. I want to let you know I'm not that person. I have real world experience and I'm excited to be here giving back and sharing my insights and lessons learned along the way. And I'm so glad that you've decided to enroll in this video. So let's dive in. Copywriting 101. This is where I'm going to answer all of the questions that beginners ask me when they're thinking about becoming a copywriter or starting their copywriting journey. The first one is, what is copywriting? Let's start in the beginning here. Now, if you feel like you've heard or you know the answers to these questions, feel free to skip ahead to the next section. But I think this is really important for beginners to understand the fundamentals of copywriting. So copywriting is the art of writing persuasive text with the goal of getting your target audience to take action. Now, that action could be anything from buying a product, signing up for a free trial, or even clicking on a Facebook ad, or even a YouTube ad, or even a YouTube video. That's what copywriting is inspiring people to take some type of action. Now, copywriting is everywhere. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've seen copywriting, because according to marketing experts, the average person sees between 4,000 and 10,000 ads or marketing messages every single day. I mean, even just opening up your phone and looking on any social media platform, you're bound to see ads, whether it's YouTube ads, Facebook ads, or even email promotions in your email inbox. You see copywriting every single day. In fact, just driving down the street, you're seeing billboards and, ads everywhere, posters on the back of buses. Advertising and copywriting is everywhere. And until now, you may have not paid much attention to it. But as someone who wants to become a copywriter, it's important that we start to study successful advertising examples. Now, why is copywriting important? Well, it's important because it increases sales and conversion rates. It's also important because it builds trust and rapport with an audience. Enough trust and rapport, and they're likely to know, like, and trust that brand and then buy from them, right? Or take some kind of action. Copywriting also helps you get attention in a noisy and distracted digital world. I mean, as you've just seen, over 10,000 ads we see every single day. Copywriting are the words that cut through the noise, all of those advertising, and they help that business to stand out, get attention, and then convince that person to take some kind of action. So copywriting is important for those reasons. Now you might be wondering, well, what's the difference between copywriting and content writing? Aren't the same thing? Well, they're not, actually. Copywriting is about inspiring action. It's about getting a target audience specifically to take some kind of action, whereas content writing is very different. It's more about educating, informing, inspiring, and in building relationships with an audience. So they're not the same thing. You know, when I told people that I'm a writer, they assume that, well, writers can write anything. But if you think about it, someone that is very good at writing poetry probably isn't very good at technical writing, right? Maybe writing about technical products or about technical services. And someone who can write a screenplay for television may not be very good about writing, advertising. So just because someone is a writer doesn't mean they can write anything. Copywriters have a special skill set in being able to write persuasively, whereas content writers are more about educating and informing and inspiring people. So I just want to make that distinction clear. It doesn't mean copywriters and content writers, you can't learn both skills, but for this video, we're going to be covering copywriting. So copywriting, what do we write? Copywriters write things like websites, landing pages, sales pages, email campaigns, video scripts, white papers, and much more. Content writers focus on things like SEO blog posts or SEO articles, ebooks, reports, newsletters, and so on. So who hires copywriters? Well, if you can think about it, lots of different companies, both big and small, hire copywriters. From the small shop on the corner that needs a promotion or a brochure written to, big corporations that are running million-dollar advertising campaigns. All types of businesses need copywriters. Entrepreneurs and marketers, whether it's a solo entrepreneur who's, running Facebook ads, or a marketing company that needs lots of different copy written for lots of different campaigns, or it might be digital agencies that do SEO, or they do Facebook or advertising campaigns. They need copywriters as well. In fact, anyone who needs help writing the words that sell products and services need copywriters. So we're very much in demand nowadays. So why do people hire copywriters? You might be thinking, well, why doesn't a business just write the copy themselves? Why do they need to hire someone? Well, it's often because they're too busy to write their own copy, right? Business owners are busy running their businesses, doing a million different things, managing a team, paying invoices, so many things that they don't have time to sit down and write copy. Or they may feel like they don't know how to write persuasively. I've worked with a lot of business owners, and when you talk to them, they say, I don't feel like I'm a good writer, or I'm not a professional writer, they'll say to me. They might understand their products and services better than anyone else, but they don't know how to convey the benefits of those products or services to their clients or potential clients. Their existing copy might be old and outdated. I've worked with so many business owners that said, I said, why did you decide to reach out and hire me? And they'll say, well, I just feel like our content or our copy on our website is really old. We haven't updated it in years. We want someone to bring in a fresh outsider perspective that can make the copy new and interesting to our audience. They also want to increase their conversion rates. Now, this is common if they have a website and they know they're getting thousands of visitors a month, but for some reason, people aren't taking action. Those visitors are not buying their products. They're not inquiring about their services. They're not joining their email newsletter. And as a result, they want help. They want a copywriter who understands how to increase action to come in and rewrite their copy so that it increases their conversion rates. And they want that fresh outsider perspective, as I mentioned. The same goes with their advertising campaigns. Their ads might not be converting. Their marketing, which might be spending thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars on running advertising campaigns, but if they're not getting a return on investment, they want that to change. They want to make money, so they hire copywriters. So what skills do you need to become a copywriter? Well, you don't need a university degree or any special qualifications to become a copywriter. I've never been to university. I don't have a degree. I don't have a marketing degree or a journalist degree, and I don't think you need one either. Some people can disagree with that, but in 20 plus years of doing this, I've never been asked for my credentials. So I don't think it really matters. Anyone who loves to write and takes the time to learn copywriting can become one. I really believe that. If you put in the time and effort to first understanding copywriting, which we're going to get to in just a moment, and then practicing writing, again, I'll be giving you techniques on how to practice, then you can gain those skills over time. Now, you might be wondering, well, how much can I earn as a freelance copywriter? I'm going to give you some stats here. According to salary.com, the typical rate for beginner copywriters ranges from $26 to $29 per hour in the United States. Freelance copywriters with 5 or more years of experience in the field have the potential to earn $75 to $125 per hour. Now, that's for freelance copywriters like myself who are working independently, right? We're not working as an in-house copywriter or not working as a full-time job employed as a copywriter. The average hourly pay for an ad agency copywriter in Los Angeles, to give you an example, is about $36.75 USD per hour. And the average employed copywriter annual salary ranges from $40K to $80,000 with an hourly rate of $30 to $50 per hour, according to this source. Now, what I do want to say is these stats that I'm giving you, these average hourly rates, it really depends, right? You might make a lot more than this. You might make a lot less than this. It really depends on the individual and different factors. And that's why I want to give this brief earnings disclaimer. I'm not one of those people that are going to come out and say how to make $1 million a year as a copywriter, because I don't think that's realistic. And I think that's peddling false hope. So it's important to note that these figures are not definitive and can vary depending on several factors, such as your location, your experience level, your background, and the different job opportunities out there, or even market conditions. There is no guarantee of success or earnings, and copywriting is definitely not a quick or easy way to make money. So I just want to say it really varies and it depends on you. Let's dive into the practical tips of how you can learn copywriting. I really believe that this is the fastest and easiest way for beginners to master copywriting. This is what I would do if I was to start all over again today. The first thing I would do is I would read copywriting books. And these are the 4 books that I'd recommend any beginner starts to read. The first is Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, a phenomenal book that talks about the 6 different principles of persuasions that I still use today when I'm writing copy. It's all about like psychology and human behavior. It's a really interesting book. There's the old classic Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz, or Schwartz. A lot of people recommend. I recommend too. Then there's the Adweek Copywriting Handbook by Joseph Sugarman. Now, you might remember at the beginning of the video, I recommended Joseph Sugarman. This is actually the updated title from the first book I ever read about copywriting that inspired this career. And that was originally called Advertising Secrets of the Written Word. This is the new updated version. Then, of course, there's a classic a lot of copywriters will recommend, Ogilvy on Advertising by David Ogilvy, who's considered the godfather of advertising industry. I'd highly recommend that book as well. So if you read those 4 books, you're going to learn a lot of principles about copywriting. So here are some of the lessons that you'll learn from those books. If you read all of those books, you'll notice that a lot of the same tips are recommended. So this is kind of the cliff notes or the summary of some of the lessons you'll learn in those books. So the 10 key copywriting lessons from those books. Number 1, understand your audience's fear, problems, and desires. Number 2, understand the product or service, so what makes it unique and different from the competition. That's what we call the big idea. Now, with these first 2 points, it's all about understanding. You have to research your target audience and understand them on a deep level before you can write to that audience. Often in copywriting, I say you're writing to one person, which is that ideal client or customer, that target audience. In order to write to them persuasively, you must understand them. And the way you understand them is by researching them. The same goes with the product or the service that you've been hired to write about. You want to research and understand intimately that product or service, why it's great, what makes it different, better than the competition, right? So make sure you do your research, points 1 and 2, before you write anything. Point number 3 is to write an attention-getting headline. I'm sure you've heard about this before. I intend on creating some videos, giving you some headline formulas and writing templates, but there's tons of content online that you can Google on how to write, great headlines as well. You also want to write a compelling opening that hooks the audience, right? What do I mean by that? It's not enough to just grab their attention with the headline. You also need to keep them engaged, and that's with the first sentence or even the first paragraph. There's a whole bunch of techniques on how to do that, and I have another video with 10 copywriting tips for beginners that covers that in more detail, but you want to write something that hooks the audience, gets them really interested so they can't stop reading. Really important. You also want to back up your claims with proof, and that might be in the form of social proof like testimonials, awards, certifications, anything that shows, that backs up your claims with proof. So it's not just enough for me to say I'm a great copywriter. If I show you by saying, here are all my testimonials, here are the results I've gotten for clients, here are some of my campaigns, that's going to be the proof that backs up the claim of me saying I'm great. And we want to do that for anything we're writing about. We're looking for the evidence or the proof that is behind the claims, right? If you were a personal trainer, you might have before and after weight loss photos from some of your clients that you show to a new client. They go, wow, he's clearly gotten results for other people, so I'm going to believe what he's saying is true. The next thing you want to do is number 6, tell them exactly what to do next, right? And that's a call to action. You want to write a call to action that gets people to take the next step, whether that's clicking a button or purchasing a product or filling out a form. You want to be clear on what you want them to do next. You want to create a sense of urgency. Number 7, why should they take action now? Procrastination is the killer of action, right? People will procrastinate, especially when they're presented with a buying decision. So what you want to do is give them a reason why they should act now. That might be a limited number of seats at a workshop. They better sign up because those seats might be taken. It might be a limited quantity of a physical product. Maybe they're only producing 100 units, and so you should sign up before they sell out. Things of that nature are examples of urgency. And of course, number 8, benefits and features. You want to be clear and specific here about what are the benefits, the results, or outcomes that your audience wants that this product or service provides. We want to be clear on what those are. And again, I have a whole video, 10 copywriting tips for beginners. Benefits and features is something I cover in that video if you want to check that out. You also want to get feedback from other copywriters. It's not enough to just write the copy and not show anyone and then send it to the client. I'd be sharing it, especially as a beginner, with other copywriters and getting their feedback and their input on what they think about it before you send it to the client or before you publish it online. I think that's really important because other people can point out mistakes that you might have made or ways to improve your copy even more. I hope you're enjoying the free course. I just wanted to take 20 seconds to tell you about Copy Academy, my membership website with 10 copywriting courses, fill-in-the-blank writing templates, plus a supportive community where you can share your work and get feedback from other copywriters on the same journey as you. Getting feedback from other copywriters was one of the best things that I could have done at the beginning of my copywriting career to take my skills to the next level. So if that's something that you would like help with, then I highly recommend checking out Copy Academy. For all the details, simply head over to startcopywriting.com/Copy Academy or click on the link in the description below this video for all of the details. Now, back to the course. You also want to always be testing and measuring. What I mean by that is we want to test and measure our copy. We want to write different headlines to test. So after the client has launched that campaign or that copy, made it live, we want to maybe give them a couple of different headlines that they can test to see which one performs the best, or maybe different hooks or openings or different call to actions to see if we can get the copy to perform even better. So I recommend checking in with a client, after they've been able to test the copy, ask them how it's performing, and then of course offer to give them, new copy angles that they can use to see if they can improve the conversion rate even more. Now, I want to share with you two of my favorite copywriting formulas or frameworks that you can use when you're writing copy. Again, these are covered in a lot of the top copywriting books. I thought I'd share some of these with you now. So the first one is the famous AIDA formula, which we can see here. Attention, grab the reader's attention with a great headline or opening. Now, when you're writing that headline, you're not trying to get the entire world's attention. You're trying to get just your target audience's attention, right? So that's something that I want to make clear. You also want to grab their interest. You want to generate interest by highlighting the benefits or unique selling points of the product or service. Remember, when you're doing your research into the product or service you're writing about, you want to think, what makes this unique and different and better to all of the other products in this market? What is the big idea or the special angle that makes this thing great, right? What's special about it? That's what we can include to generate that interest, because our ideal clients or our target audience may have tried everything else. They might be aware of all of the products out there. We want to explain how it's better. Desire. You want to create desire by emphasizing how the product or service can fulfill the reader's need or solve their problems. Again, when we're doing our research, what are the benefits that this product or service helps the prospect to solve? What are those benefits? How can we emphasize them? How can we explain how this product will make their lives easier, more stress-free, more problem-free, or even solve a specific problem? We want to think about that. Action, that's again the call to action. You want to prompt the reader to take action, such as making a purchase or whatever else that action step we want them to take. So really important. That's the famous AIDA principle. If you haven't heard it already, it's really great framework for writing most types of copy. I also want to talk about my second favorite one, which is the PAS or the PAS formula, and that stands for problem, agitate, solution. The problem is where you identify a problem or pain point that the reader or target audience is experiencing, right? So let's say it's teenagers that are experiencing acne. I know what that's like. I had acne as a teenager. If we know that's the problem that they're facing, that our product solves, then we can write about that in the headline and also the opening paragraph. We might say, acne getting you down, ? Or embarrassed by your acne, ? That could be the headline, that could be the opening. The reader, because they have that problem, are going to say yes. Then what we want to do is we want to agitate in the second step, and agitate the problems by emphasizing the negative consequences or frustrations associated with it. So basically you elaborate upon the problem. First you introduce the problem. Have you got acne, or are you embarrassed by your acne? Then we want to explain and talk about how that's affecting their lives. How is acne affecting their lives in a negative way? By doing that, we're going to put them in the mindset of, yes, I have this problem. Yes, I can understand how it's affecting my life. I feel bad about it. Now I'm going to search for a solution, right? So by putting them in reminding them of their pain and their problems, they're now in the mindset of, I want to do something about it. Because what we learn from psychology is most people are more motivated by pain, by avoiding pain, than gaining pleasure. Just ask yourself, when do people go and buy a home security system? After their home's already been burgled or robbed. That's when we look at it, because it's the pain that made us go out and purchase that thing or that home security system. So for you, you've got to think about, well, what are the pain or problems that my audience is struggling with? Can I point them out? Can I agitate them, expand upon them, make them feel them? And then because of that, they'll be in the mindset of, I need a solution. And that's where the next point comes in, solution. That's where you present the solution, which is the product or service being promoted. And you explain uniquely how this product or service or solution can solve that problem that we've just, agitated and emphasized, and how it does it better than all of the other competition and other products they may have tried. The PAS formula is one of my favorite copywriting formulas out. Okay, I want to move on to copywriting examples. This is where it's really important in your copywriting journey to study copywriting examples. I mean, you can't get good at something if you've never studied the thing that you want to get good at, right? So this was really important for me in the beginning of my career, studying examples, so I understood, what great copywriting looks like. So what I want to do now is share with you some websites and resources where you can go and find hundreds and sometimes thousands of successful copywriting examples that you can study and learn from. And by the way, these examples are all in the description below this video. So if you go below this video, you'll see links to all of these examples and websites that I'm sharing with you, all of the resources in the description box below this video. So swiped.co, and there's a link below, is a great place because it's got thousands of copywriting examples, and you can organize them by the different niches or industries, everything from dating to financial services to dentistry. You can look at all the different copywriting examples in all the different niches. And then you can also organize them by different types of copy, whether it's, landing pages or emails or video scripts. You can organize them and filter them by the types that you're interested in studying and also the industries that you want to look at as well. The next one is one of my favorites. This is copywritingexamples.com, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can also, if you look here on the left, the column here with type and style and audience, you can organize all of the different examples, filter them by that. And what's great about this website and also Swiped is that they also provide annotations and explanations behind different examples, right? So they'll not only show you the ad, they'll underline and write comments on why this ad is effective. So you're actually learning how to think like a copywriter because different copywriters are analyzing the examples and telling them why they worked. And understanding how to think like a copywriter is super important to becoming one. So copywritingexamples.com, a great website. They also have a weekly newsletter, which they send to you, every week, a newsletter with links to the latest examples as well. So a great resource. I highly recommend it. The next website here is reallygoodemails.com. And again, similar to the other two websites, you can organize this by or filter the examples by both category and goal and industry and things like that. And these are obviously all about emails. So we're going to see lots of different promotions for lots of different industries, sales emails, engagement emails, follow-up emails. If you want to study email marketing, this is a great place to visit, a great website to visit to learn more. So check that out as well, reallygoodemails.com. The next one is super interesting. A lot of people don't know about this, but Facebook, or nowadays called Meta, has their own ad library. So if you look here where it says search ads, you can sort the ads by industry and also category. They have two categories. One is advertising, one is political. I stay away from the political stuff, but you can look at based on country or all countries or industry. You, for example, and I've done this in the past, I would type in a competitor's website or their brand name. For example, it's not my competitor, but I would type in Fiverr, and it will show me right now what Facebook ads are Fiverr running, right? And also show me how long have they been running each of these ads for. It won't show me the performance. It won't say this ad is working really well. But if an ad's been running for a long time, even just a few months, that ad is probably working because a company wouldn't run an ad if it wasn't profitable, right? It'd be just throwing money away if the ad isn't performing. So we know if an ad's been running for a long time, it's probably successful. So you could literally type in any business in here, the business name, and it will tell you if they're running ads right now or not. And that's extremely valuable for doing competitor research and also just seeing what different brands that you like are running ads. So you can study those ads and see what they're running at the moment. A really great resource. GuessTheTest.com, something that I've subscribed to for years. This is actually a paid website, although they do have a free trial with limitations like a lot of websites do. But what it will do, it actually gives you before and after, or A and B versions of different ads, and it asks you to pick which of these perform better. So maybe they'll show you two Facebook ads side by side, and they'll say which one performed better. And they won't tell you. You have to guess A or B. And then once you've voted on whichever one, it will then reveal the winner and it will explain why that ad performed better. So it's a game you can play. I think they send you, it's like weekly, sometimes even daily, different quizzes, and you have to choose, and then it will explain why. So this is a great resource. You can sign up for free, and then you can start, doing the different tests and testing your knowledge about the different copywriting examples, advertising examples they share with you. A great resource. Now, when I'm studying advertising on any of those websites, I'm asking myself a series of questions, and these are the questions. You can pause the video and read them in your own time. But these are the questions I ask when I'm studying advertising to try and understand and think like a copywriter. Because thinking is really the name of the game here. Thinking about all the different things I've already mentioned, the prospect, the target audience, the product or service. I want to ask myself these questions when I'm studying ads to see if I can come up with the answers and test my own knowledge. And by doing this, you'll learn how to think like a top copywriter, which will help you when it comes to writing your own copy or writing copy for clients' businesses. All right, let's move on to the next section, which is improving your copywriting skills. How can you improve your copywriting skills if you're a beginner? Maybe you've never written copy before, you've only written a little bit, you want to improve those skills rapidly. Here's how I would do it in just 15 minutes a day. These are the different exercises that I would follow. Before we get to that, I would just want to remind you about the importance of making copywriting a daily habit. And these are two quotes from two famous writers, Stephen King and Caroline Gordon. The first one is, if you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all others: read a lot and write a lot, right? So studying copywriting is how you're reading the copy, and then practicing writing is how you're writing. The second one is, the only way to do it is to do it. Write every day. Write a little bit every day, and soon you'll be writing a lot. The hardest part, everyone, is just getting started. If you can say, I'm just going to write for 5 minutes every morning, that's much better. And you're probably likely to write for a lot more than those 5 minutes once you get started. But once you set the barrier low, the barrier to entry is getting started. I'm just going to write for 2 minutes. I'm just going to write a sentence. You're much more likely to get started and make it a daily habit. So ask yourself, what's the best time and place for me, that's you, to write every day? If I was going to do this every day, is it the first thing in the morning before my kids get up? Is it late at night, when I've got some time to myself? Is it as I'm commuting to work, as I'm on the train, as I'm stuck in traffic? Can I have a little, notebook and pen and practice writing? When can you find the time every single day to write? Make that decision for yourself. And then once you've decided, maybe it's in the morning or night or whatever, decided the time and the place, I want you to set a reoccurring timer in your phone, right? A reoccurring timer, a daily timer to remind you to do the thing, the writing for 10 minutes, writing for 15 minutes. While you're writing, find that place that's going to be quiet, that doesn't have distractions or interruptions. Let the people around you know that this is what you do at this time every day, so they don't disturb you. And then set that timer for 15 minutes, for half an hour, to write. And do nothing but write, or if you're studying, study for that time. Don't check your phone. Don't check the internet. Try and just focus for that time. It's just, again, 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And make this a habit, so you're doing it every day for at least 30 days. Commit to yourself that you're going to do this. And after those 30 days, you will know if this is something you want to pursue or not pursue in the future. But give yourself time to try it. Most people think about copywriting. They talk about copywriting for years. They never actually do it, so they never actually know. I don't want that to be you. Actually try this out for real, right? And that way you'll know in 30 days if this is something you want to pursue as a profession, whether it's freelance or in-house or not. But you won't know until you do it. So that's what I'm recommending. Actually do this for 30 days and see for yourself. So what should you write about? Now, I've given you some examples already, right? But I want to give you some more ideas. You could try all the different types of copywriting to find out which type you enjoy writing the most, right? If you haven't tried writing emails, try writing email promotions. Maybe you're interested in writing like sales pages. Well, try writing sales pages. Pick a type of copywriting or try all of them for that month and see which type of copywriting you enjoy the most. Maybe you're someone who loves video scripts. You won't know until you try them all. You might have an idea like, I'd really like to try this. Well, try it and practice writing every single day. You also might write about niches and topics that interest you or you have knowledge about already. Maybe you love technology. Maybe you love smartphones specifically. Maybe you know and already study in your free time. You're checking out the latest gadgets and gear, and that interests you. Well, follow your passion. Write about things you already know about or you're passionate about, or maybe you have some experience in. Maybe you've worked in technology before. Whatever it might be for you, think about what niches or topics you're already obsessed with or knowledgeable about, and then write about those. Some other ideas is you could transcribe some of the successful ads by hand. This is a technique that I did in the beginning. I found a lot of the successful ads out there, sales letters and such, and I rewrote them out with a pen and a pad by hand, and that helped me understand the psychology behind all of those great, ads and sales letters. You could also rewrite and improve existing ads. You could pick up your local newspaper or some trade magazine, and you could look at the ads in there already that are already running, even ads you see everywhere. It could be online, on Facebook or wherever, blogs. And you could rewrite those thinking about how you could improve the existing ads that you find, right? And see if you could improve them. That's another great exercise. Now, if you're all out of ideas or everything I've said doesn't appeal to you, you could use AI to generate copywriting assignments for you. And you could use this website to help you do that. And this website, again, the link is in the description. This is copywritingprompts.com. The cool thing about this website is very simple. You click on new prompt and it'll generate a random prompt, a copywriting prompt that you can just follow. So you could literally come on this website every day, click new prompt, and then just write whatever the assignment is. In this case, it's write an email of someone at Lego accidentally sending their critique of a Black Friday promotional email a day before it was supposed to go out. You could write that. You don't have to share what you're writing with anyone, so there should be no fear of criticism. You can literally just write for yourself and get that writing practice in every single day by using something like copywritingprompts.com. All right, so if you followed those first couple of steps, you now understand copywriting, you've studied copywriting, you've learned copywriting, all of the principles and frameworks and formulas and tips. You've practiced writing every day. You've gotten your writing confidence up. You understand the different types of writing because you've tried them yourself. Now it's time to become a copywriter, right? How do we turn this passion for copywriting, this interest in copywriting into actually a career? How do you build a portfolio? What do you charge? How do you attract clients? That's what I'm going to cover in this section of this copywriting course. There's 5 steps to become a freelance copywriter. These are the steps that I would follow if I was starting all over again today. The first one is I would choose a niche or industry that I already had knowledge in, that I was already passionate about. And I would also pick a writing type, emails, landing pages, whatever it might be. I would then build a portfolio based on that niche. And we'll get into more details with each of these steps in just a moment. Step number 3 is I'd establish an online presence, right? So how are people going to find me online? What website or page do I send them to when people ask, how would I see your work or your portfolio? Where do I live online? That's something I want to create. What am I going to charge? What are my rates? It's important to set your writing rates so that when someone says, what do you charge? You have an answer for them. You don't fumble your words. And number 5, of course, is market yourself, find clients, and work with those clients. So let's dive into each of these steps, step by step, so I can give you all the details. The first one is choose a writing niche or industry and a writing type. Now, could you be a copywriter and write anything that people ask you to write? Yes. Will you be good at every different type of writing? Probably not. And that's why it's great in the beginning to specialize in 1 or 2, maybe 3 different types of writing. For example, in the beginning of my career, I loved writing sales letters or sales pages for the self-development industry, right? I loved the self-development industry. I was already a consumer of self-development content. I knew a lot of the gurus out there from reading their books and, attending their seminars. I was interested and excited about that industry, and I was interested and excited about writing sales letters. So that's what I started doing in the beginning. And then I learned other things like email campaigns, product launches, and things like that. And I studied those as well. But I specialized in an industry and a writing type, and that worked very well for me in the beginning. I recommend you do the same. So ask yourself, what industry do you want to write about? What are you knowledgeable, passionate about, or have experience in already that you can leverage to start your copywriting career? Also, what brands, products, or topics do you already love? I've already covered this already, but look at the brands you already follow in social media or the products you have in your house. That could be an indication of what industry that you want to write about. And then what type of writing you're interested in doing. I've already talked about this, but it could be emails, or maybe you're naturally wanting to write scripts for videos, or maybe you're thinking about sales letters or Facebook ads or Google ads, whatever it might be. That might be what you specialize in the beginning. Step number 2 is, once you've decided on the industry you want to focus on, at least in the beginning, you don't have to marry that industry for your whole career. You could switch industries later. You don't have to be, a self-development copywriter for life. I wasn't. I changed industries over time. But once you've figured that out, you want to build a portfolio. Now, a lot of beginners I speak to say, well, I wrote for my college newspaper. I've got articles that I could put on my website. I'm a poet as well. I have a lot of poetry I can show potential clients. Clients don't care about that stuff. A writing portfolio is, as I've said here, a collection of your best work, but it's not every writing thing you've written over your entire life. It's not that. It's your best examples that are relevant to the industry that you want to write about. So let's say I'm writing for personal development. They don't care that I wrote a technical blog post. That's not relevant to them. They want to see what I've already written for their industry. So if I can show those emails or those sales letters that I've written for other people in the industry, that's going to impress them more than 100 examples that I wrote for in my high school years or for in college or whatever like that, whatever it might be for you. So it's much better, less is more, to have 3 relevant industry examples of high quality work than 100 random examples. So the good news for you is you only need to create 3 to 5 examples and add them to your portfolio for one particular industry. You don't need to create dozens or countless examples to get started. What I recommend for you is to intentionally create the type of examples that you want to be hired to write for in the future. So maybe you want to write emails for e-commerce products or for Shopify stores or drop shipping or whatever it might be, for Amazon products. If that's the case, then go out there and intentionally create those examples even before you get your first client, right? By practicing writing, by using some of the exercises I've mentioned already. You want to create 3 to 5 at minimum examples for that niche in that type of writing. And then you can upload them to Google Drive or other websites I'm about to recommend so that you've got a place to share your work when a client, asks to see your portfolio, and 99% of clients will ask to see your portfolio. And that's where you establish your online presence. So where do you upload your portfolio examples and where can clients find you? If someone says, I'm interested in your copywriting services, where do I find out more? What's your website? Or where do I find you online? You need to have an answer. So it could be your own website, like yourname.com, whatever that name is, or it can just be your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn could be where you write your bio and upload examples that clients can look at. LinkedIn is a good place to start. Or maybe it's Upwork. Maybe you want to create a profile and upload your examples to Upwork. That's fine too. Contently is another website, and so is clippings.me. You can literally upload to any of these websites, but just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect or the place that you stay on forever. It can evolve over time, but you need to upload your examples somewhere and your portfolio and your profile somewhere. It's also important to set your writing rates. What do you charge? Now, one thing I think is important to mention is that successful copywriters charge per project, not per hour. You do want to know what your hourly rate is, do you want to be earning per hour? But I often don't share that with clients. They don't know my hourly rate. What they know is what I charge per project, because every project is different. Writing a 200-word sales email is going to take me a lot less time than writing a 4,000-word sales page, right? So I need to be able to calculate how many hours it takes me to write the things that the clients want me to write about, okay? So first thing first, decide what your hourly rate is and then keep it to yourself. So if you're a beginner, maybe you want to start at the recommended rate from a lot of the websites, which is $26 per hour. If you're just getting started, why not start there? Maybe it's more for you. Maybe you're more experienced and you charge $50 an hour. It's really up to you. Decide on your hourly rate. Then when a client contacts you and said, hey, how much do you charge? Ask them a number of questions to figure out how much time it's going to take you, how many hours it's going to take you to write whatever the project is, right? So I'll ask them, do you have a deadline? Do you have research materials for me? Do you have any examples of other sales letters in your industry that you like? You ask them to share more information with you. Do you have an idea on the length that you want this email campaign to be? Or do you know how many emails in the campaign? Basically ask for all the details so that you can then step back and think to yourself, well, how long will all of this take me? Now, you'll have some idea. Well, in the beginning, you won't have any idea, and therefore you'll guess, and that's okay. But you may have some idea from doing some of the exercises that we talked about in the previous section of the course when you're practicing writing, because you'll start to see how long it takes you to write things. But do factor in, with any copywriting project, you'll need to spend a few hours doing research about the target audience, about the product or service you're writing about, a few hours writing or many hours writing. And then there may be some revisions. A client might ask you to make revisions. You want to factor in that might take a couple of hours as well. It's going to be different for everyone, but in the beginning, guess how long it will take, and then you'll learn over time as you do it how long it actually takes. You also want to ask for 50% upfront as a beginner. Ask for a deposit upfront, and then let the client know that you expect the 50%, the final 50%, to be delivered upon completion. And for me, completion means within 7 to 14 days of submitting the first draft, I will then, expect the second 50% of the amount. You also want to follow up with clients to ask for referrals. I'll message clients and say, how's the copy going? How's it performing? I'll also ask for a testimonial or referrals. I'll keep in touch with clients every couple of months to see how they're going and if they need any more help. It's another great way of staying top of mind and, of course, getting more referrals and work from them. Now, I want to share with you step number 5, which is how to get clients. How do you actually market your services and get clients? Well, this is one of the most popular questions out there, and I want to give you 9 ideas, things I've personally tried to attract your first or next copywriting client. So step number 1, or technique number 1, or strategy number 1 is to ask people you already know for referrals, right? So even though you may not have any clients yet, you do have a network. Think about old companies you've worked for as an employee. Think about friends or family members that might be business owners. Literally go through your phone or through your friends list on Facebook or Instagram, look through the list and think, who are these people could potentially hire me or refer other people that could hire me? Maybe it's that old friend in high school that's now running a successful business. Reach out to them. Maybe it's a family friend or friend of a friend that works in a big company that probably needs copywriting help. Reach out to these people. I would send a personal email to each of them, letting them know that you've started a freelance copywriting career and you're looking to work with more companies in their industry. And do they know anyone that could use the help of a skilled copywriter? Literally send an email or private message like that. You'll be surprised at who gives you a chance in the beginning. And that's your existing network. So number 1 and number 2 are kind of similar in asking people you know for referrals or asking your existing network for referrals. You could also just do a post on social media saying the same thing. Hey, everyone, I'm launching my brand new freelance copywriting career. I'm looking to work with clients in this space. I'm a specialist at writing these types of copy, and I'm looking to build my portfolio. I'm willing to work for free, which is something I want to expand upon. I'm willing to work for free for the right company or client. That will get your foot in the door. I don't recommend working for free for more than 1 or 2 times, but as a beginner with no experience, it's very easy to market yourself by offering to work for free, because those companies will not only potentially hire you in the future at your full rate, they'll often be so grateful if the copy is good that they'll refer other people. I worked for free in the beginning. My first couple of clients were for free, and then they went on to hire me and pay me my full rate. So it's definitely a great way for beginners to get your foot in the door and to get your first couple of writing opportunities and then paid clients. And number 4 is to send cold emails to 100 dream clients and then follow them up. Remember how I said you want to look at an industry or niche that you're already knowledgeable or passionate about? Let's say you're really knowledgeable and passionate about indoor plants. And I'm saying that because I'm looking at an indoor plant on my desk here. Can you go to Google and type in top indoor plant companies in the United States or whatever region or country you're in? Google will then serve up, these are the top companies. Can you then write all those companies, write them down in a spreadsheet, then go and find the founder or the marketing manager or the content marketing manager at those companies, find them on LinkedIn, send them a message with the same message that I would send to, friends or family members or people in my network, offering a chance to write for them. And that can be a great way of contacting people in your niche that could potentially hire you. So sending cold emails, personalized cold emails, is a great way to get your first or next copywriting client. What about attending in-person industry events? A great opportunity for finding clients. There is nothing better than meeting people face to face, shaking their hands, looking them in the eye, and introducing yourself. That is one of the best ways for building your business. It's actually how I built my business in the beginning of my career as a 21-year-old. I went to all of the self-development seminars. I networked with the speakers and other attendees. I introduced myself as a copywriter, and I picked up clients that way. Find out in your industry, what are the big events that happen every year that you can attend either locally or nationally or even internationally if you have the funds to do so, and then go there with the idea of networking and getting clients that way. It's a great way of picking up clients. Tip number 6 is to apply on job boards and freelancing websites like Upwork or ProBlogger. These websites have new job writing opportunities posted every single day. You could go there and send a personalized pitch to each of those companies that you find might be suitable for your skills and your background and experience to apply for. And it's a great way for finding, writing opportunities every single day. Number 7 is to partner with service providers who are already working with your future clients, right? Think of companies like web designers or digital agencies that may have businesses they work for, they design websites for, or they, promote websites for their clients, but they may not have a copywriter working in-house. They may not have a copywriter on the team. Therefore, they'll often go to freelance writers who they want to bring in to work on specific projects. Why not find all of the web design agencies or companies in your local area, reach out to them and introduce yourself? It's a great opportunity for letting them know that you exist. And so when the suitable project comes along and they don't have an in-house writer, they might hire you. That's another way I've built my business. And just a couple of agencies or web design firms can keep you busy for a long time, years even, with lots of different projects and writing opportunities. The next one is guest blogging in exchange for exposure and leads, right? So you might find all of the popular blogs in your niche. You might then see if they have writing opportunities. It's often a matter of just finding a link on the website that says write for me, or, guest writing or guest blogging. You go there or ghostwriting. You go there and you contact those companies, you pitch them some ideas of blog posts that you could write for their website or blog. And if they say yes, you then write that article or blog post for free. But at the bottom, you have the author bio, and that's where you introduce yourself as a freelance copywriter working for that industry. And then all of the readers that read those popular blog posts or articles, are able to click on your link, go to your website or your LinkedIn or your profile page, and then hire you. It's a great way for promoting yourself on some of the most popular blogs in your niche. Step number 9, and the final step or strategy, is to contact businesses that are already advertising. Let's say that I'm someone that's really into fishing and I'm a copywriter that's writing for the fishing niche, a very, big niche, but very niche, right? What you could do is go and find all of the magazines, trade magazines, the specialist publications about fishing. Then I would go through them and look for all of the companies that are advertising, that are running, printed ads, display ads, we call them, in those magazines. And I might send an email or call them and say, hey, I'm a copywriter who specializes in writing about fishing. I've seen your ad in this magazine. I've noticed a couple of ways that you could improve this ad and get a lot more calls or visits to your website or whatever their call to action is. Would you like me to share some of those ideas with you? Most companies are going to say yes. And they're going to ask you what those ideas are, or to ask you to email them those ideas. And then you've got your foot in the door to further writing opportunities when they want to rerun that ad. It's a great way. You could do that online by finding all the websites, or you could use Facebook to find, the companies that are advertising in the Facebook ad library, or, do it offline with magazines. And it's another great way of marketing yourself and getting more writing opportunities, getting more copywriting clients. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this free 1-hour copywriting course. If you did enjoy it, then please let me know by typing a comment in the comment section below, clicking the like button, or subscribing to the channel. I really put a lot of time and energy into putting this together, so I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you'd like more free resources, I recommend you head over to my website, startcopywriting.com, where there's tons of free blog post articles and, of course, Copy Academy, my private members-only community where copywriters like you hang out, share their work with each other, and provide the all-important feedback that helps copywriters improve their skills and their career. So if that's something you'd like to check out, head over to startcopywriting.com, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.